Hello and welcome to your complimentary sleep connection talking chart. And of course you've been listening to the foundation version of these charts, and I mentioned on more than one occasion the fact that there is a significant impact when we do sleep in the aura of another. And this sleeping talking chart really is to give you a graphical and auditory reference point for the impact that it does bring into your life sleeping with your partner. And of course this is not meant to undermine one's relationship in any way. There are many ways to be intimate, but once we are asleep, we are not aware of who is next to us anyway, but the impact can be absolutely dramatic on us, not only in terms of our sleeping or dreaming state and the types of dreams that you're going to have that you wouldn't have had if you had slept alone, but also there's a physical impact, there's a chemical impact that occurs when you awaken. And I'm going to give you a visual demonstration of that in this overview of the sleeping talking chart here. Now this is laid out graphically so you can see the individual foundation sleeping designs, and those two coming together form this design in the middle. That is the sleeping design of the connection. And thus if you are within auric range of the person that you are sleeping with, this dynamic occurs instantly. And of course the auric range of us as individuals varies, but as a solid rule of thumb, imagine a bubble around you reaching out 2 meters in every direction, above you, below you, to the right and to the left. And thus if your bubble touches somebody else's bubble, then a connection is initiated automatically, and this goes whether you are awake or asleep. And we are working on a waking connection talking chart, which of course is very different dynamically, but it works through exactly the same auric mechanic as the sleeping talking chart. So we have here King Charles III and Queen Camilla. And of course immediately in looking at the foundation design, we'll look at Queen Camilla first. Well, she is a sleeping reflector, and that means that when she is asleep, if there is no transit impact, then absolutely nothing is active. Yes, she has plenty of activations here, but none of the centers are active. So Camilla sleeping on her own would generally have a very easy night's sleep, and if she was on her own and the transit is affecting her, well, it's something that she's used to. Charles, on the other hand, is a sleeping generator. He has quite a radical sleeping design. 2 earth plane channels here, the channel of rhythm and the channel of preservation. And you know the earth plane is all about us redigesting when we are asleep, the information coming through neutrinos impacting all of those people that are awake on the planet. And this is why the earth plane is the plane of madness, because the world is not self. And the vast majority of that world are not first world countries. There are millions of starving people in Africa awake when we are asleep. The world's problems abound, and ultimately all of that comes through the earth plane and impacts us when we are asleep. So it certainly doesn't surprise me that Charles is very big into charitable work, because he's someone that has to enter this plane of suffering every night of his life. But again, he's used to that, and the effect of his sleeping design is a consistent pathway to his waking design. So again, it's something that's natural. But what happens when we put these 2 people together in the same auric range, and this could be 2 beds in the same room, it doesn't matter if your auras are touching. If you're living in a small apartment and there is a bedroom wall, and on the other side of that wall is your neighbour's bed, well, you are sleeping with them. So it's always good to do a kind of auric inventory relative to your sleeping place. Imagine reaching down 2 meters, up 2 meters, to the right, to the left, and see if there's anything that could impact you. And no physical object, a brick wall, stops the aura. It can penetrate anything. So you can see immediately what happens when this sleeping reflector and this sleeping generator come together. They form a different connection type, so neither of them are now living the foundation design that they were given. They are living something that's completely alien. So you can see it's a massive change from a reflector where there's the potential for nothing to be going on at night to suddenly be living out a manifesting generator type when they are sleeping. You can imagine the impact that that's going to have on the quality of their sleep. The sacral center is now active for Camilla. The splenic center connected to the throat. That's the manifesting generator route. In addition, she's impacted by this rhythm channel that's coming via Charles. So she's going to be living all of this energy, all of these dreams engendered by these activations. The sacral is clearly an energy field. And of course, it's not the full powered sacral center, but there's enough energy in that sacral to energize the dreams, which means there is a possibility of waking up somewhat exhausted. Rhythm channel people at night, these are people that never want to wake up in the morning. They're all slow to get going because of the impact of the chaos that's going on in this channel. So just from a quality of sleep perspective, this is not an ideal coming together of two individuals. It's of course impacting Camilla dramatically, but it's also impacting Charles. Normally his throat center's not active, but now there's a manifesting outlet for this sacral center, that same brainwave channel. And he's got 3 throat gates running that ordinarily wouldn't be running if he was sleeping alone as well. And I say all of this because in addition to not having a good night's sleep, you never will if you're being conditioned by the aura of somebody else, because it's often conditioning that naturally shouldn't be there. That 12th gate in Charles's throat would never normally be there apart from the odd transit now and then. The 62, these are both portal gates for their relevant fields. The 62, the light field, the 12 is the earth plane. And of course Camilla wouldn't have any of this running if she wasn't sleeping in the aura of Charles. But as well as this lack of a good night's sleep, there is a chemical impact when we wake up. Every one of these gates that are active at night have a codon family to which they are associated. So yes, the 28 is running at night for Camilla, and ordinarily it wouldn't have been there. But it's not just the 28 chemistry that is impacting her waking design. It's every gate in that codon family. So that's also the 32nd gate, another splenic gate. So let's have a quick look at the chemical impact that Camilla is going to be impacted by, and Charles, as a result of them sleeping together. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, that is when this chemistry is passed into your waking design in a nanosecond. There's no escaping it. And 100% of this chemistry Camilla would not have received if she wasn't sleeping with Charles. So you can see here she's being impacted by the first gate. Now the first gate is in Camilla's design, but look, it's in an undefined center. So it's only there when a transit activates it. Well, it can go a very, very long time before any transit moves through the 8th gate. It just happens to be there right now as at the 28th of June 2024. But once it's moved on from there, it can be quite a long time before that first gate is impacted. But she's going to get it every night. because she has a defined G center courtesy of this rhythm channel. And that first gate chemistry is lysine, and the other gate is the 14 that belongs to lysine. And even if she doesn't have the 14 in her waking design, it sits there. It simply waits for some waking conditioning impact, and the moment the 14 is there, you get the distorted version of the 14 courtesy of the impact of this sleeping design. Then we have threonine. This is because of the fifth gate in Charles's design that is now triggered in Camilla's design. So when she wakes up, she's going to be impacted by threonine, and she wouldn't normally have been impacted by that. There's no fifth gate in her design. But now, every night, when she wakes up in the morning, the 5, the 9, the 11, the 26 are all impacted through sleeping with Charles. And it's her mind that is impacted. Remember, these are all not self people. This is the program pulling their strings, giving the mind the illusion of a quality in a particular gate that just shouldn't be there. Now, I won't go through every one of these, but you can see there's a whole long list of chemistry that Queen Camilla is hit by every night of her life that she's sleeping with Charles, that would not have impacted her at all. Remember, she's a reflector. If there's no transit, there's no chemical conditioning, there's no activity at all. She'll have a lovely easy night's sleep. Instead, she's trading that repose for this maelstrom of chemistry and sleeping energy and bizarre dreamscapes, simply because she's sleeping in the aura of Charles. And of course, Charles is being impacted by all of this chemistry as well. And quite a lot of it he wouldn't have been impacted by. Leucine, these stop codons or terminator codons, the 12, the 33, the 56, this tyrosine, he doesn't have the 62, it's going to impact his 31 as well when he wakes up. That's all coming courtesy of this connection triggering definition in the throat center. So I won't labour this point, but you can see this enormous list of chemistry that's impacting Camilla. And if you're in the human design experiment, you're in the process of deconditioning, your mind's attracted to all this stuff. And when you wake up in the morning, you're not waking up as you. You're waking up into a waking connection. And you can see that this waking connection is dynamite as well. It's a 9-0 relationship, so these can be somewhat suffocating relationships because there's no room for anything on the outside to really come in and penetrate this connection. And you've got this enormous energy imprint through a single definition, a huge number of electromagnetic channels impacting both people in this connection. And of course, the dominance channels also impact the other person that is not carrying that channel. Plus, there's this very moody emoting channel, which is the core compromise that they have in this relationship. So nighttime, it's a washing machine of conditioning, and daytime, it's a washing machine of conditioning. And neither of these people will wake up as their individual foundation design or sleep with their individual sleep foundation design. But let's just finish the navigation of the sleep talking chart. What I'd recommend next is to visually look at your design and see which centers are suddenly active when you're sleeping with your partner here, and have a good listen to those centers. You're not there to be conditioned by those centers, but your partner is turning them on. So that's a good place to start. And once you've listened to that impact, well, listen to the channels that are activating these centers. You can see right down the bottom here we have channels, and they are color coded. The 515 rhythm channel is blue, the 2750 preservation channel is blue. So these are both channels that Charles is bringing, that Camilla is also going to be conditioned by at night. So you can listen to the impact of channels that are not yours on your design by clicking on these audios down here. Then you'll see this other channel that's coloured black. This means it's an electromagnetic channel. It's not there in either of their designs, but it's created courtesy of two gates coming together through the aura. So in this case, it's the 20 of Camilla and the 57 of Charles. When they come together, they form this channel of the brainwave, and thus they're both going to be experiencing that energy when they are sleeping. And this is the channel that wakes people up. The 20 wakes us up so that it can imprint conditioning in the middle of the night. So again, more disturbance in terms of sleep for both of them. Once you've listened to the channels, then remind yourself, I'm sure you've listened to these on the foundation charts anyway, remind yourself about these domains of impact relative to neutrinos. There are 3 domains. The earth plane I've talked about are neutrinos coming through the consciousness crystals of all of the people that are awake on the planet when you are sleeping. The light field is this bundle of personality crystals that surround our planet. Neutrinos refracting through there bring the propaganda of the light field, and the demon realm, of course, is relative to our design crystal. So these are neutrinos coming through the center of the earth and picking up that conditioning that turns into demon realm propaganda. And then go through all of the gates that are activated. Yes, you have channels in this connection, but also you have gates running. This 28, for example, this is a demon realm gate. You can see that they are both Charles's because they are coloured blue. He's got the south node with the 4th line, Mercury with the 6th line, so Camilla's going to be living those energies that are not hers. So you can listen to the gate by clicking here on the gate and then listen to the lines that she's picking up. She's also getting this design line, the 4th line south node as well. So it's impacting her sleeping body at the same time. So you can see who's bringing the activations by simply looking at the colours here. Anything orange is Camilla in this case, anything blue is Charles. So you can see there's a massive amount of information and conditioning that both of these people are being subject to, because all of the centres are active bar the root centre, and it only takes a transit in the 38 or the 42 to turn that on as well, and suddenly this 53 is active along with the transit gates. So I'll leave it there. It's pretty easy to navigate this sleep connection talking chart, but I really wanted to give you a graphical example of the dramatic impact that sleeping in the aura of someone else can truly have, not only on your sleeping experience, but also your waking experience. Thanks very much, and bye for now.